Without stating the obvious, here at RPM we drive a lot of cars. We drive cheap cars, we drive expensive cars, we drive them to interesting places and we drive them in interesting places. And as much as we enjoy all the driving, it's got me thinking there must be more interesting ways to travel. At the moment we're in Umhlanga, and with the help of our friends from the Imperial Group, we're going to make our way back to Joburg using means that we're not particularly used to. To make sure we're not taken too far out of our comfort zone, we've opted for a chauffeur drive in the Bentley Continental Flying Spur, fresh off Imperial Collection's showroom floor. Powered by a 6-litre twin-turbo V12, this is a car that should get us back home at a pace that's as impressive as its list of standard luxury features. The Bentley's got huge power to match its snob value, and even though I'm sitting in the back here being driven around, not actually in control of the car, you get a good sense of what it's about and what it's capable of. I don't know though. Driver, can we find something else, please? This is indeed something else. Parked conveniently at a nearby airfield, Absolute Aviation were waiting to take us home in a Beechcraft King Air 250 turboprop, a member of the world's most popular family of business aircraft. For $6 million, you get a lot more than just a leather and wood-cladded interior. The flight is an experience in itself. Well, this certainly beats commercial. I got my own very comfortable seat, lots of legroom, no annoying passenger next to me, no one telling me to switch off my electronic devices. But even though this King Air aircraft is superb, I'm somehow not enjoying it as much as I should. Another bonus of a private plane, not having to fly where the airline wants. A quick word to the pilot put us down at the closest airstrip, bringing to an end a short but very memorable flip. It seems I was a bit hasty in giving up the motorcar as the best way to travel, and given where we were, it was looking like I'd have plenty of time to regret it. So having decided after all that driving yourself is the best way to travel, and having given up a private plane and a Bentley, we now find ourselves in Ladysmith with 370 kilometers to go and a distinct lack of cars to get us home. Ah, there's one. The Lamborghini Aventador Roadster. To be honest, I wasn't sure I liked the Aventador Coupe until I saw it in the metal. It catches your eye and your imagination the same way I'm sure the Countach did back in the 70s. And the Roadster has exactly the same effect. And I am particularly pleased that this time round, Lamborghini have chosen to keep the engine on display. In the lesser Gallardo Spider, the engine is tucked away, but in the Aventador Roadster, its mechanical mastery remains in plain sight, tucked under the optional glass and carbon fiber hood. The rest of the car is pure menacing genius, with something else to appreciate every time you look at it. The thing about the styling of this car is it's not so much interesting as fascinating. It's easy to appreciate the obvious details like the angry lights and the big air dams and the diffuser and the superb profile, but the real beauty is in the details. Having taken in as much as we could in one go, we hit the road, heading back to Lamborghini's HQ in Johannesburg. There is a common misconception that supercars are impractical and uncomfortable, but modern supercars like this one are changing that. There still is only space for 2 people and there's not much luggage space, but you kind of expect that from a car like this. The only real inconveniences are this material that's a little bit too light and there isn't really any place to keep your cell phone very conveniently. There isn't much left off the luxury list in the Aventador Roadster, except when it comes to the Roadster part. No fancy folding metal roof, no lightweight canvas hood, just 2 panels, removed by hand and stored in the only available luggage space up front. It may mean some fiddly manual labour inconvenience, but the design also means that Lamborghini's engineers have had to do less messing around with the chassis. In theory, because a comparatively small part of the original has been changed, the Aventador Roadster should still give you the same confidence in the chassis as you get in the hardtop, and that's good. because confidence means you can carry speed into the corners, knowing all the mechanical bits are going to carry you safely through to the other side. The Aventador Roadster not only delivers tons of grip, even at serious speed, it does it without feeling like a big, soft, wobbly open top. The chassis, composed entirely of carbon fiber and aluminium, is just one part of the reason for this car's astonishing handling. Race-derived pushrod suspension with double wishbones lowers its unsprung mass, makes the aerodynamics just that little bit more slippery, and helps improve steering feel. One of the stats we always mention on the show is the 0 to 100 time, and given some of the cars we get to drive, it's pretty easy to get blasé about that particular figure. But this car has got the quickest 0 to 100 time of any car I've ever driven. So rather than just tell you about it, we're going to show you. First gear, go. And that's 100 kilometers an hour. The official time is 3 seconds, but it feels unbelievable. And when you have a runway at your disposal, it's 3 seconds you get to experience again and again, and it never fails to impress. The power in the Aventador Roadster comes from the same 6.5-litre V12 as you get in the coupe, with 515 kilowatts and 690 newton meters. While the Germans enjoy capping their top speeds at 250 kilometers an hour, this Italian doesn't bother with such idiocy and will add an extra 100 to that figure for a top speed of 350 kilometers an hour. For all its supercar status, the Aventador Roadster really doesn't mind just cruising along at 120, ticking over at 2,500 RPM. But it really doesn't take too much to turn this car from a really expensive cruiser into an absolute V12 beast. This car puts the mental into monumentally quick. It just doesn't run out of power. It keeps accelerating to the point where you have to be very brave or have enough open road, or both, to experience what it's really capable of.
Time now for a breather, but there's more Aventador action after the break. And we introduce Honda's Civic 1.6i D-Tech to our long-term test fleet.
Stability. Even straight roads deserve a few twists. Continental. Tires engineered in Germany. Competitive from start to stop. Conti Partner, your fitment professionals. Tires for a safe drive. Even safer for the environment. Continental, tires engineered in Germany.
We're still behind the wheel of the Lamborghini Aventador Roadster on our road trip from KZN to Joburg. It really doesn't take much imagination to look around this cabin and know that there's still some Audi influence. But there's one part I'm glad they haven't borrowed from their parent company. Recently, Audi fitted a dual-clutch gearbox to their R8 supercar, which was so refined that it removed that thump in your back every time you change gear. And in a car like this, you want to feel that, to know that you're part of the whole mechanical experience. And you get that in this car, thanks to its single-plate dual pushrod system. It means getting through the 7-speed box is still rapid, but with a whole lot more feel. One thing they have inherited from their parent company, though, is an environmental awareness. Along with its technical and mechanical brilliance, the V12 motor also features cylinder-on-demand technology, which means it'll only use as many cylinders as it needs when cruising. Our trip in the Aventador Roadster was immense fun, and it just reaffirmed the notion that driving yourself is still the best way to travel. And that's especially true if you're driving a car like this. I was initially skeptical of the Lamborghini Aventador Roadster because soft-top versions of hardcore sports cars tend to be nothing but compromised versions of the original. But with the roof on or off, this car has got the looks, the power and the all-round ability that earns it its supercar label. And it is spectacular.
It's unsurprising that the latest V12 effort from Lamborghini is a performance masterpiece, but its cylinder-on-demand and start-stop technology give it an eco-friendly edge. It has the supercar looks and dynamics, and it's a surprisingly comfortable long-distance cruiser, but it also suffers from the usual supercar practicality and affordability issues.